All right, Nick, let's talk about one of our favorite teams to talk about, probably one of the most exciting teams in the NFL right now. That's none other than the Detroit Lions. They're playing out of their minds. Another huge blowout win by them against a tough divisional opponent. But nonetheless, this has been what the Lions have been doing lately, Nick. They have been all over it. They're a team on fire, and they are fighting their way into a potential playoff spot. And coming from being dead in the water to being a team that is ready to take a potential playoff spot. It is nothing short of miraculous here, Nick. We have the story on all of this and a few key rookies in the Lions den that are very, very good. And we'll get to that in just a second. But before we get there, Lions fans, I know there's a lot of stuff that has to fall your way. A lot of things have to be worked out. But if you were to make it into the playoffs after next week, who would you want to see there? Who do you want to face in the playoffs? Let us know in the comments below. While you're down there, leave us a subscribe. It really helps us out. And you'll see our videos pop up when we talk about the Lions. So win-win for everybody. But Nick, what do you have on the Lions?
Yeah, so like you kind of alluded to there, it's been the strength of really their rookies and what they've done this season. And I'm going to bring up some crazy stats on some of these guys and just the performances they've had. And then let's talk about how the Lions are building their team the really smart way under Holmes and Campbell. But I'm going to go through stats. So this is the first according to Field Yates, NFL insider for ESPN. So talking about Lions defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson has 7.5 sacks. Second most among all NFL rookies, and we'll get to the guy who's number one. And he has 3 interceptions, tied for most among all linebackers / defensive linemen in the entire league. That is staggering what his performance is there. And now we're going to shift over to their other rookie, the surprising 6th-round pick out of Jackson State, talking, of course, about James Houston. He has 8 sacks this season. And minus, he has 8 sacks on 11 total tackles.
Jeez.
This is a guy who knows how to get to the quarterback and gets it done. He's hyper efficient about pass rushing, and you need a guy like that in today's NFL, especially a guy who can put up 8 sacks. That's stupendous as a kind of a pass rusher, a certainly situational role that he's done a lot with the Lions. So it's clear here, Mize, that the Lions are great. Finally, after years, there's a lot of concerns about this, right? When they've been up and down, they've had issues with this, but they're now finally great at drafting the right guys and developing the right guys and putting them in the right positions for success. Whether it's Aiden Hutchinson, whether it's Houston, we're seeing Jameson Williams getting involved now in the offense, and he's putting up big plays. Whether it's any of these guys, any of these rookies coming along, any of these young guys that they developed, brought into the fold, the Lions under GM Holmes and under Coach Campbell are starting to do things the way smart teams and well-run teams do things. And I think whatever happens this weekend against the Packers or with the Seahawks game, whether the Lions make the playoffs or not, the future is so scary bright in the NFL when you do smart things when it comes to drafting and developing your players, and the Lions are finally doing that. Miles, give me your thoughts on this Lions story and just everything with the way the Lions are doing right now.
Yeah, Nick, the Lions are fantastic, drafting fantastic, but I want to dive into that stat that you gave a little bit because I want to put a little context on that, Nick. Aiden Hutchinson in his own right has been phenomenal. As you said, the 3 picks, as you said, the 7.5, 8 sacks, however many he has. But he's done this all, Nick, on 900 snaps defensively, roughly, if I calculate that right. Houston has 8 sacks and a forced fumble so far on 100 snaps.
Yeah, scary.
That is insane efficiency. 8 sacks on 11 tackles, all these stats on 100 defensive snaps. So he's gotten basically a tenth of what Hutchinson has gotten snap-wise, and he is able to perform. This guy is playing out of his mind. Hutchinson's playing insane in his own right, but just the quick build-up and explosion of Houston onto the scene has been nothing but incredible. I love what I am seeing. And this Detroit defense, who started out the season, Nick, as one of the worst units in the NFL, as a liability. I would bet you if we went back to week 4 or 5, Detroit fans would tell you that this defense maybe had one piece on it that they want to keep going forward into the season. And now you have like 4, 5 standout guys that could be key defensive pieces for down the stretch. This is incredible, and this is a testament to great coaching and also a testament that you have to wait and let things develop. You can't jump ship so early. So I really love what I'm seeing from the Detroit Lions, and I really am excited to see them try to potentially get into the playoffs. That would be dream come true for me to see the Lions make the playoffs because I want to see what they can do if they get there.
Well, I think the thing is, and obviously we brought up Houston and Hutchinson because they've been kind of the guys jumping off the stat sheet from the defensive side of the ball. But it's not just them, right? They drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think, in the 4th round last year. He's been a superstar. Sewell's an awesome guy. Of course, he was the 1st round draft pick. How about Rodrigo this year? He's been a heck of a player. Was a fan favorite for a while. He's come into his own. Obviously, they developed Okudah into a really nice corner as well. So it's just all of these things, right? These are the things we see out of, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the teams that are constantly, the Patriots for a long time, the teams that are constantly winning and making deep playoff runs or being competitive late in the season. And, the real contenders, the way people like to describe them, what do? They always seem to do well on 1st round draft picks. They always seem to hit home runs there. And they always find these late round guys that turn into really good, really nice players, either situationally or overall. And the Lions, give them all the credit in the world, right? Everyone's talking about Jared Goff, and rightly so. He's had a really nice year. But I think it's these young guys they've drafted and developed that are quietly becoming either great situationally, like Houston, 8 sacks, 100 snaps is unbelievable, or just great all the time, like Aiden Hutchinson. He looks like a future star at defensive end, or any of the other guys I mentioned. The Lions are starting to do everything right to be a contender, not just in 2022 and going forward in 2023. And I want to leave you with this story. There was a report out that the Lions, their goal was to be winning the NFC North in 2023. That was the goal that Dan Campbell told Holmes. That was his plan when he came in originally. Give me 3 years, we'll win the NFC North. And right now, the way they're developing and drafting and picking these young guys, they're right on track to meet that goal. If I'm a Lions fan, again, whatever happens this weekend, I hope they get in just like you. I think it'd be awesome for the league. Their future is so bright, it's scary.